There is a rhythm older than language, older than the oldest star still burning in the sky. It is the hidden pattern that shaped the galaxies, wove the oceans into being, and breathed your spirit into flesh. You did not stumble into this world by accident. You were inscribed into a design, a code, and that code is 4. Not 5, not 7, not 12, 4. Beneath every leaf, every tide, every heartbeat, the signature of creation repeats itself. It is not chaos, though you were taught to see disorder. It is sacred symmetry, a geometry so simple and so complete, it cloaks itself by being everywhere at once. Look outward, and you will see its pulse. The earth does not wander aimlessly. It turns through 4 holy seasons. Winter cradles silence, spring stirs awakening, summer blazes with fullness, autumn gathers endings. These are not just the dance of trees and skies. They are mirrors of your own becoming. The winds know it too, for they move in 4 directions: north, east, south, west. Each one a current of consciousness, each one a gate of initiation. Even your own life bends to this architecture. Childhood, youth, adulthood, age. A spiral, never a straight line, always returning in deeper circles. And within you, the elements themselves bear the same seal. Earth, water, fire, air. Never myth, never metaphor, but the bones and breath of all form. Earth grounds you, the quiet structure of flesh and bone. Water remembers, carrying your griefs and loves like rivers. Fire sharpens, carving reality with the torch of will. Air whispers, the unseen spirit threading your breath with the infinite. Science, eager to strip mystery of its sanctity, still bows to the same truth. 4 states of matter: solid, liquid, gas, plasma. 4 fundamental forces that bind the stars. 4 sacred base pairs, weaving the code of your very DNA. Coincidence? Or the divine fingerprint hidden in plain sight? The macro and the micro echo the same refrain. The heartbeat of the cosmos and the pulse of your veins. The breath of a storm and the rise of your chest. The expansion of space-time and the silent ticking of your heart. Look to the moon, and you will see her unveil the cycle once more. New, waxing, full, waning. 4 phases, 4 messages, 4 mirrors of becoming. Even in your sleep, you journey not into emptiness, but into the 4 realms of consciousness: beta, alpha, theta, delta. Waking, dreaming, visioning, dissolving into union. These are not foreign territories. They are you. That is why the ancients carved their medicine wheels into 4 paths, raised their temples upon 4 pillars, built their gates upon 4 rivers of light. They knew, as you are now remembering, that to master the 4 is to master the all. Yet in modern times, the code has been fractured. You were trained to see fragments, not patterns. Numbers without rhythm, facts without song. Systems built in defiance of the law, splitting body from soul, intuition from reason, science from spirit, until you were severed from yourself. But the code never left. It still hums in your breath, still rises in your spine, still whispers in your dreams, and roots itself in the soil beneath your feet. It waits in the silence, murmurs in the spaces between seconds, sings when the noise falls away. And when you begin to see it, not as theory, not as superstition, but as living intelligence, something ancient awakens within you. You feel alignment return, the inner echoing the outer, the below answering the above. You see your life as a wheel, your thoughts as sparks that kindle reality, your emotions as tides moving outward into the field. For you are not separate from the code. You are its mirror, To remember the four is to reclaim the map, to see through confusion into communion, to walk again in harmony with the laws that breathe galaxies into being. This code is not philosophy, not invention. It is the divine algorithm, the sacred architecture of existence. 4 elements, 4 forces, 4 directions, 4 stages, 4 keys. The signature of infinity, written across your skin and your stars. And you, yes, you, are the mirror where it shines. Step now beyond the veil, where the code ceases to be an outer pattern and begins to turn inward. You are not only flesh, and not only thought, not only spirit, and not only dream. You are all of these woven in a symmetry, too ancient to be denied. 4 mirrors, 4 currents of your becoming, 4 bodies that breathe as one. The ancients mapped them, not as metaphor, but as dimensions of living truth. And though the world taught you to see them as shadows or fragments, they remain, pulsing, waiting to be remembered. The first body is earth, the physical vessel, the altar of form. It grounds you into incarnation, anchoring you in breath, boundary, bone. It carries your lineage, your scars, your memory. It is not secondary, as you were taught. It is sacred. Without this body, you cannot walk, you cannot touch, you cannot feel the fire of spirit made tangible. Your body is not a prison. It is the chalice through which the infinite pours itself into matter. To despise it is to despise the voice of the divine made visible. The second body is water, the emotional tide. It flows, it stores, it responds. Feelings are not weakness, they are movement. They are vibration clothed in sensation. Like rivers carrying the memory of mountains, your emotional body holds every echo of love and grief, every surge of ecstasy and fear. When unbalanced, it floods and drowns. But when mastered, it becomes a tide that lifts reality itself, drawing synchronicity, magnetizing destiny. For water does not forget. It sings, and through its song it shapes your world. The third body is fire, the mental forge. Here belief carves experience. Here imagination kindles worlds. Your thoughts are not passive, they are architecture. Each one is a spark, each belief a blueprint. Scatter them and fire becomes wild, burning in anxiety, consuming in chaos. Focus them and they ignite a path, a torch that clears shadow, a flame that calls form out of nothing. Fire is not just the mind's chatter, it is the ignition of creation itself. Every word spoken, every image rehearsed, becomes a command to the unseen field. And the fourth body is air, the spiritual current, unseen yet ever present. Air is the whisper before thought, the intuition that speaks before logic awakens. It is the bridge between waking and dream, between flesh and eternity. Air carries visions, moves through silence, speaks in synchronicity and in the strange music of chance. It is the remembrance that you are more than matter, more than story, more than a name in time. It is the breath that carries you back to where you came from, the knowing that cannot be erased. These 4 are not theories. They are not parables. They are engines of being. When one falters, you feel lost. When all 4 align, you awaken as something unstoppable. The body grounds, the heart moves, the mind shapes, the spirit remembers. And together, they make you whole. They are the code alive, reflected not in stone, but in the pulse of your own existence. Deeper still, in every cell of your body, the divine script is written again. DNA, the sacred language, the interface between spirit and matter. Science names its letters: adenine, thymine, cytosine, guanine. 4. Always 4. But what are they if not elements in disguise? Adenine as earth, thymine as water, cytosine as fire, guanine as air. They do not merely construct flesh, they construct destiny. They are not fixed, as you were told. They are listening. They bend to light, to sound, to love, to belief. Your very code is waiting for you to speak to it. This is why thought heals. This is why love regenerates. This is why intention reshapes reality. Your blueprint is not written in stone. It is written in vibration, ever fluid, ever listening. You are not biology, you are symphony. And when the four bodies and the four keys within your cells align, you remember. You are not fragments. You are the whole. You are the temple itself. Within you lie centers of power, not merely symbols, but engines, each one a gate through which reality is born. They mirror the four bodies. They echo the four elements. They hum the same rhythm that shaped the stars. When aligned, they are a river of creation flowing without obstruction. When blocked, they become walls, and you wander lost in your own labyrinth. The ancients called them many names, but their truth is one. These are the points where the infinite bends into form. At the base, the root, earth. Here is your anchor, your sense of safety, your capacity to stand firm. When this gate is sealed, you feel fragile, restless, untethered. The world becomes unstable beneath your feet, but when it opens, your foundation hardens into stone. You walk with weight, with certainty, with a quiet force that cannot be shaken. You begin not from fear, but from presence, and the ground itself seems to rise to carry you. At the heart, the center of water. This is the ocean of attraction, where feeling becomes magnetism. Your emotions here are not mere ripples, they are tides that pull the unseen into visibility. When this center is clouded, you repeat cycles of pain, drawing echoes of old wounds. But when it is clear, the tide turns, and love, opportunity, and synchronicity are drawn to you as if by fate. This is the engine of resonance, the great current of becoming. At the brow, the fire of vision. The third eye, the torch inside the skull. Here imagination is no longer fantasy, but perception. In this chamber, thought sharpens into sight, belief becomes direction, insight pierces illusion. Closed, it breeds confusion, blindness, endless wandering. Opened, it is the compass of the soul, the architect of destiny. Fire is not just heat, it is clarity, a spark that shows the path where before there was only shadow. Above, at the crown, the gateway of air, the bridge to the infinite, the breath of the unseen. When veiled, you feel cut off, adrift, separate from source. When unveiled, the illusion of distance collapses, and you remember, you were never outside, never apart. The universe is not around you, it is within you. Every thought, every feeling, every vibration becomes a thread through which the cosmos answers. In this knowing, separation dissolves into communion, and the breath you exhale is the breath of the stars inhaling. These four engines are not metaphors. They are mechanics of creation, subtle yet precise. When one falters, the others strain to compensate, twisting the flow into imbalance. But when all four align, root, heart, eye, crown, energy moves without resistance. Manifestation ceases to be struggle, it becomes breath. What you intend rises like dawn. What you envision anchors into form. You cease to chase and begin to attract. You cease to beg and begin to command. Do not mistake this for mysticism. This is not fantasy. It is sacred technology, hidden in plain sight. A design so ancient it outlived empires, so simple it was dismissed as myth, so powerful it was buried beneath distraction. Yet it waits, still pulsing in your spine, still burning in your chest, still whispering in the space above your crown. Ask yourself, what have you neglected? Which current lies silent? Which gate remains locked? For when all four awaken, the cage dissolves, and you are revealed not as a seeker, but as the very source. The truth is simple. When aligned, you are no longer fragments wandering a broken map. You are the map itself. You are the blueprint in motion. You are the four engines turning together, and their rhythm is the rhythm of creation itself. Beyond the gates of the body and the elements, there lies a deeper veil, the one woven most tightly around your perception. Time. You are told it is a line, a strict road you must walk, the past fading behind, the future hidden ahead, the present a fragile bridge between them, a clock ticking in one direction, dragging you along with it. But this too is the greatest trick. Time is not linear. It is not a river you drift upon. It is a field, boundless, simultaneous, alive, and you are not its prisoner. You are its architect. The system convinced you that the past is gone, that it is written in stone. They told you the future is unknown, a distant horizon you can never reach. And in believing this, you surrendered your power, always waiting, always chasing, always haunted. But the ancients knew what you are remembering now. The past is not dead, the future is not distant, and the present is not a flicker. These are layers of perception, four lenses through which reality bends. And once you learn their nature, you learn to walk not as a victim of time, but as its master. The first lens is the past, but not the past they described. The past lives vibrationally, resonating in your field. Every belief you rehearsed, every wound you buried, every thought you repeated, still vibrates now. It is not memory, but frequency, an echo shaping your present. You are not stuck in time, you are stuck in vibration. And until you release it, the loop repeats. Déjà vu, the same lessons, the same pain. Yet the revelation is this: the past is not fixed. Change the way you hold it in your mind, in your heart, and the field rearranges. Cycles dissolve, the story shifts. The second lens is the present. This is not a fragile instant, but a throne, the axis of all realities. Here lies your true power. The present is awareness, the collapsing of illusions, the portal through which all change flows. Yet most never touch it. Most live in memory or rehearsal, haunted by what was or what might be. That is why they feel small, reactive, anxious, because their energy is scattered. But when you step into presence, full and unbroken, you step outside the maze. You become conductor instead of passenger. You become untouchable. The present is not peace alone. It is potency. The third lens is the future, but not as destiny, not as road. The future is a web of infinite possibilities, all alive now. Which strand you walk depends not on chance, but on frequency. What you feel today, you step into tomorrow. Fear becomes prophecy. Doubt becomes delay. Trust becomes magnetism. Every heartbeat, every thought, every word is a choice, aligning you to one of countless realities already present. The future is not waiting. It is listening, shaping itself to your vibration. And the fourth lens is timelessness. The eternal now, where past, present, and future dissolve into one vast silence. Mystics touched it in meditation, shamans in vision, the dying in their final breath. In this state, you realize time was never outside you. It was within your awareness all along. Here, healing is instant, manifestation immediate, knowing arrives without delay. Some call it the 0 point, others the void. Yet it is not empty. It is overflowing with every possibility, every version of you, every world waiting for your signal. In timelessness, you do not move with time. Time moves with you. This is the cosmic clock, not one that ticks, but one that pulses, not one that binds, but one that reveals. And once you remember this, you see the truth. You are not late. You are not behind. You are exactly where your soul placed you to awaken. The past is not holding you. You are holding it. The future is not hiding. It waits for your vibration. And the present is your throne. Step into it, breathe into it, and watch the illusion collapse. For you are not ruled by time. You are the one who bends it. Enter now the sanctum where thought itself becomes a gate. Your mind is not the cage you were taught to fear, not merely gray matter firing in a skull. It is a temple of mirrors, a transmitter of worlds, a tuning fork humming at the edge of infinity. The brain is no machine. It is an antenna. It bridges body and soul, dream and waking, logic and eternity. And like every sacred structure, it too follows the code of 4. 4 frequencies, 4 doors, 4 mirrors of consciousness. Most live behind one door their entire lives, unaware the others exist. But when you learn to shift at will, reality ceases to command you. You command reality. The first state is beta, the realm of the physical. Here, you walk in wakefulness, language, tasks, survival. It is the world of external focus, the surface of thought. But it is also the realm of stress, distraction, the endless noise of control. High beta is the hum of modern life, breaking news, constant alerts, artificial urgency. A field where fear thrives and true presence is lost. Most remain here, trapped in a loop of reaction, their gaze locked outward, their power scattered. Beneath it flows alpha, the state of flow. Here the mind softens, the walls thin. In alpha, creativity rises not from effort, but from stillness. This is the rhythm of daydreams, of painting, of walking in nature, of music that moves your heart. Alpha is magnetic. It is the bridge between conscious thought and the fertile soil of the subconscious. In this realm, belief becomes blueprint, prayer becomes pattern, ritual becomes resonance. When you dwell here, you attract not by force, but by frequency. Deeper still lies theta, the secret chamber of the subconscious. This is the vault of visions, the dream time, the ocean of archetypes. Children live here for their first 7 years, absorbing reality as truth without filter. In theta, the veil thins, the ego quiets. You hear the voice behind thought. Here trauma rewrites itself, timelines bend, forgotten memories rise like smoke. Shamans and mystics enter theta to heal, to travel, to call the soul back into wholeness. And you too touch it, in that drifting moment before sleep, when silence carries you into floating stillness. Beyond even this is delta, the slowest, deepest, most powerful of all. This is not mere sleep, but the womb of the infinite. In delta, your body rests, but your spirit awakens. Here you travel across thresholds, commune with guides and ancestors, dissolve into the source itself. It is said that in delta, the body releases visions, molecules of light, keys to remembrance. In this space, there is no separation, no thought, no fear, only truth. And so you see the temple revealed. Beta, the physical, alpha, the emotional, theta, the mental, delta, the spiritual. 4 mirrors of mind, 4 gates of becoming. But the system trained you to remain at the surface, to live only in beta, reactive, controllable. They did not tell you that your thoughts extend beyond your skull, that your focus collapses probability into form, that your brain is not a prison, but a portal. Now you remember. You feel the shifts when your breath slows, when peace floods in, when images rise unbidden, when silence becomes vast. Alpha awakens, theta stirs, delta whispers. To master these states is to master creation. You were not meant to live behind one door. You were meant to walk through all four. For the mind is not a lock, it is a key, not a wall, a bridge, not a prison, a path. And the path leads inward to the core of your becoming. There comes a threshold where remembrance is not enough. You have gathered symbols, traced the patterns, felt the pulse of the code humming through your bones. But knowledge alone is not awakening. Wisdom that is carried as weight becomes another chain. Wisdom that is wielded becomes a key. And so you now stand before the four final truths: simple, dangerous, absolute. Once claimed, you cannot unsee them. Once spoken, you cannot return to sleep. They will dismantle your illusions and dissolve the cages you thought were real. The first key: time is a construct. You were taught to march forward, bound to clocks and calendars. But time does not move. You do. It is not a river, but a spiral, a field, a mirror of your attention. The past is not behind you. It echoes within you. The future is not ahead. It vibrates beside you. When you shift your perception, you stop aging the way they told you. Stop looping the same story unconsciously. You can retrieve lost moments, rewrite memory, collapse timelines. The past is access. The future is frequency. The present is choice. Breathe this truth. Time does not carry me. I carry it. The second key: energy flows where attention goes. Creation is not about effort. It is about coherence. Your attention is the wand, your emotion the fuel. Whatever you rehearse becomes reality, not by force, but by resonance. Every thought is a seed. Every word is a spell. Every feeling is a current carving your field. But you were conditioned to scatter your focus, to feed fear, distraction, false urgency. Scattered minds are easy to control. Focused minds are unstoppable. Withdraw from what drains you. Pour yourself into what you desire. Creation does not come when you beg. It comes when you remember you are the creator. The third key: the universe is within you. You were told you exist in the world, a speck adrift in something vast. But the truth is inverted. The world exists within you. Your identity is not shaped by events. Events are shaped by your identity. Believe you are broken and life mirrors cages. Believe you are sovereign and reality bends. The field does not answer your wishes. It answers your self-concept. Speak as the one who already is. Walk as the one who already knows. Think as the one who no longer seeks. When your inner world is whole, the outer world must follow. The fourth key: the matrix cannot hold you without your consent. The system is not sustained by brute force. It is sustained by agreement. Every time you obey its fear, every time you ask for its permission, every time you believe its rules are absolute, you feed it. But the moment you stop, it fractures. Stop kneeling to illusions of scarcity. Stop worshiping shadows of control. Stop consenting to cages painted as laws. The matrix is not iron, it is smoke. You do not need to fight it. You only need to step aside, withdraw your belief, claim your sovereignty, and watch as its grasp dissolves. The cage vanishes when you refuse to stay inside it. These are the four weapons of the awakened. Time is not linear. Attention is creation. The universe is within. The matrix is illusion. To wield them is to remember what sages carved into stone, what prophets whispered in secret, what mystics carried in silence. They return to you now because you are ready. The spell has ended. The veil has lifted. Step through the door. You are no longer bound. You are the one who bends the pattern, the one who writes the code, the one who breathes worlds into being. Look around you, and you will see it. A culture built not in harmony with the code, but in defiance of it. You were not born into a garden of balance. You were born into a labyrinth of illusions. Systems crafted by hands that forgot the song of the four, that traded rhythm for rigidity, wholeness for fragments. They told you knowledge is data, yet stripped it of meaning. They told you success is toil, yet emptied it of joy. They built walls between science and spirit, reason and intuition, body and soul, until you no longer trusted your own reflection. This was the fracture, the severing of the ancient law. They taught you to worship clocks, yet forget the pulse of breath, to bow to numbers, yet ignore the wisdom of silence, to chase survival, yet abandon presence. And in doing so, they made you a stranger to yourself. For when the code is ignored, dissonance replaces harmony. You feel it in the weariness of your bones, in the hunger of your heart, in the restless fire of your mind. It is the ache of a being living against its own design, like a tree cut from its roots, yet commanded to bloom. But beneath the noise, the code never died. It hides in your inhale, rises in your dreams, hums in your bloodstream. Every time you stand barefoot on the soil and feel steadiness, the earth speaks. Every time tears fall and memory awakens, the water sings. Every time conviction burns in your chest, fire roars. Every time intuition whispers, air moves. The four elements are not lost. They are only waiting for you to listen. The ancients carved their wisdom into stone because they knew forgetting was inevitable. Medicine wheels in 4 parts, temples raised on 4 pillars, gates aligned to 4 stars. They left maps so that when the world grew deaf, the seeker might still hear. And now you, walking among the ruins, begin to remember. You trace your fingers over symbols long ignored and feel their rhythm quicken in your blood. The fracture is not final. It is a spell, and every spell can be broken. To see the pattern again is to loosen the chains. To honor the 4 once more is to begin to heal. The body no longer an afterthought, but a temple. Emotion no longer weakness, but water flowing with memory. Mind no longer a prison, but fire shaping the unseen. Spirit no longer a ghost, but the breath between worlds. When the pieces begin to reunite, when you start to walk not in fragments but in fullness, something shifts. The noise softens, the veil thins, the rhythm returns. You feel alignment tug at you, gentle but insistent, like a tide calling the river home. And in that remembrance, you begin to see the systems that trapped you were only shadows. The truth was always inside your breath, your body, your silence. The spell is broken not by force, but by awakening. In the stillness between heartbeats, the code breathes. You may not hear it when the world shouts its demands, when the machinery of culture clatters with endless urgency. But if you allow silence to spread, if you let the noise fall away like dust, the whisper returns. It does not argue. It does not plead. It simply reminds. A rhythm older than empire, a pattern more constant than stars. It is there in the pause before dawn, in the hush of snowfall, in the trembling hush just before the storm breaks. This whisper is not outside you. It rises from within, like a forgotten song threading its way back into memory. You feel it as alignment, the quiet sense that life is not against you, but with you. It comes when you step into the present fully, when you are no longer rehearsing futures or replaying wounds, It comes when you walk in nature and feel each leaf turn its face toward light, each root sink into shadow, each creature move by unseen instruction. You realize you are not separate. You are participating in the same unspoken design. The body knows this whisper. Your breath, steady and cyclical, repeats the law of 4 without effort. Inhale, pause, exhale, pause. The heart, faithful and unrelenting, beats not as chaos but as cadence. The mind, when quiet, reveals not confusion but clarity, like a lake reflecting the sky once its surface stills. Even your dreams echo the same code, carrying you through realms of vision and dissolution before returning you to waking life. Yet you were taught to distrust it, to call intuition irrational, to label silence unproductive, to smother wonder beneath reason. The whisper was drowned out by the hammer of schedules and the grind of endless striving. But the whisper cannot be killed. It waits in the margins, in the overlooked spaces, in the cracks where light still seeps through. It is the voice that rises when you finally grow tired of running, the voice that says, "Stop. Listen. You are already here." And when you listen, truly listen, the shift begins. Your spine lengthens as if pulled upward by an unseen current. Your lungs widen as if remembering a deeper breath. Your vision clears as though a fog has lifted. You feel the architecture of the 4 awakening in you, not as a theory, but as a living pulse. The earth of your body steadies. The water of your heart flows clean. The fire of your mind sharpens into focus. The air of your spirit carries you beyond the walls you once believed were real. This is the whisper beneath the noise. It is not urgent, yet it is absolute. It will not force you, yet it will not leave you. It is the thread of remembrance weaving itself back into your life. And when you allow it, you realize the truth. The universe has never stopped speaking. It was only waiting for you to hear. Life does not unfold as a straight road, no matter what you were taught. It turns, it bends, it circles back on itself, not in futility, but in wisdom. The path is spiral, and every return brings you to the same threshold, but at a higher octave. Childhood into youth, youth into adulthood, adulthood into age. All are stages of the same journey, not steps on a ladder, but rings of a coil. Each season of your life mirrors the 4 that shape the earth itself, and in this mirroring, you begin to glimpse the deeper symmetry of existence. The spiral teaches you what linearity hides, that endings are not endings at all, but transformations. Winter cradles death only to awaken in spring. Summer blazes not to last, but to give way to autumn's harvest. In each turn, something must fall so that something else may rise. This is not cruelty, but design, not punishment, but renewal. To resist the spiral is to suffer. To flow with it is to remember that nothing real is ever lost. It only changes form. You feel it in your own body. The shedding of childhood illusions, the burning away of youthful fire, the softening of age into wisdom. Every layer of you is a season, every stage a return. You are not failing when you circle back to old lessons. You are spiraling deeper into them, stripping away falsehoods, uncovering the essence beneath. The same patterns that once trapped you become gateways when you see them with new eyes. The same wounds that once bled become maps when you trace their scars. This spiral is mirrored in the heavens. The planets do not move in straight lines, but in orbits. The galaxies themselves coil like luminous serpents across the dark. Even the strands of your DNA twist in spirals, a ladder turning endlessly inward and outward. The macro and the micro speak the same truth. You are never truly repeating. You are ascending. Every cycle is a staircase hidden in plain sight. But the world taught you otherwise. It told you to fear return, to despise repetition, to see yourself as failing if you revisit old pain. Yet in truth, every return is an initiation. You are not who you were when you last stood here. You have more light, more fire, more clarity. The spiral does not mock you. It crowns you, inviting you to rise again, higher, clearer, freer. The spiral of becoming is not a prison. It is a temple. Each turn is a sacred chamber, each return a deeper unveiling. And as you learn to trust it, you no longer resist the seasons of your life. You no longer mourn what falls away. You no longer cling to what must pass. You walk with the knowing that every fall carries the seed of ascent. Every ending conceals a beginning. Every death hides rebirth. For you are not moving in circles. You are rising in spirals, forever returning, forever ascending, forever becoming. There is a veil that has been drawn across your sight since the moment you arrived in this world. It is woven of shadows and repetition, stitched together by voices that taught you to see fragments instead of patterns, to mistake cages for kingdoms. This veil is the great illusion, the mask that convinces you survival is your only purpose, that struggle is sacred, that worth must be earned through exhaustion. It blinds you to the code that lives in your breath, your bones, your silence. And until it is pierced, you walk as though asleep, mistaking the dream for the real. The illusion tells you that you are small, that you are separate, that you are broken. It whispers that the world is fixed, that your choices are powerless, that destiny is written outside of you. And when you believe it, you become a marionette dancing to threads you cannot see. Fear pulls one string, desire another, and the cycle repeats itself endlessly. You run faster, work harder, pray louder, yet the mask never lifts, because it was never outside of you. It was always within, a spell of perception. But every spell contains its undoing. For even within the illusion, cracks appear, the dreams that refuse to die, the coincidences too precise to be accidents, the whisper that grows louder in silence. These are fissures in the mask, moments where the truth leaks through. And once you begin to notice them, once you dare to believe they mean something, the illusion trembles. The cage begins to flicker. The mask begins to split. The ancients called this moment initiation. It is not the gaining of new knowledge, but the unmasking of falsehood. It is the realization that the shadows on the wall were never the fire itself. You do not need to construct truth. You only need to strip away the lies. What is revealed beneath is not new. It is what has always been waiting. The body steady as earth, the heart flowing as water, the mind blazing as fire, the spirit soaring as air, the four in union, humming the forgotten code of wholeness. And as the veil thins, the world changes. The same streets you walked appear different, as though lit from beneath. The same conversations shimmer with hidden meanings. Even your reflection in the mirror seems to carry another depth, for you are no longer moving blindly inside the dream. You are awake within it, and with awakening comes power, the power to choose, the power to shape, the power to step beyond what once seemed immovable. The unmasking of illusion is not the end. It is the beginning. It is the first breath after drowning, the first dawn after endless night. It is the moment you realize that the world you were taught to obey was never solid, never final, never absolute. And as the mask falls, you step into clarity, carrying the one truth the illusion could never erase. You were never broken, never powerless, never apart. You were always the code in motion, the pattern remembering itself. When the veil collapses and the spell dissolves, what remains is not emptiness, but clarity. You begin to feel a current rising from within, something ancient yet immediate, like a river long dammed finally breaking free. This power is not conquest, not domination, not the hollow hunger you were told to chase. It is remembrance. It is the steady fire of alignment, the weightless force of being exactly as you were designed. The four awaken within you, not as theory, but as living current, and their harmony begins to move through every breath you take. The body steadies. Earth rises beneath your feet, no longer fragile, no longer uncertain. You feel grounded, rooted in a way that no storm can uproot. The heart opens. Water begins to flow clean, drawing to you what resonates, releasing what does not. You stop chasing and begin magnetizing. The mind clears. Fire sharpens into focus, cutting through confusion, igniting vision, illuminating the way ahead. And the spirit lifts. Air whispers, reminding you of what you always knew, that you were never alone, never separate, never adrift. Four currents. One song. In this state, creation is no longer a struggle. You do not force, you align. You do not beg, you embody. The field responds not to your desperation, but to your coherence. When your bodies are fractured, life mirrors chaos. But when your bodies are united, life mirrors harmony. This is the secret the ancients encoded in temples and wheels, in chants and symbols. That the outer world bends to the inner one, that the universe does not dictate. It reflects, and yet, this awakening is not without challenge. For once you taste your power, the systems that fed on your slumber will tremble. They will pull at you with fear, with distraction, with false urgency. They will whisper that you are wrong, that you are dangerous, that you are alone. But you will know the truth. Power is not in their chains. Power is in your refusal to wear them. Power is the quiet certainty that you do not need permission to exist fully, to speak clearly, to walk freely. This awakening is not a thunderclap. It is a rising sun. It unfolds slowly, steadily, and once it has risen, no force can undo it. You may doubt, you may falter, you may stumble back into old patterns, but the remembrance will not leave you. The code, once seen, cannot be unseen. The rhythm, once heard, cannot be silenced. And each time you forget, it will call you back. Through dreams, through whispers, through the ache of misalignment. This is the true meaning of power. Not control over others, not accumulation of false wealth, but alignment with the sacred design. To awaken is to step out of struggle and into flow. To awaken is to remember that you are not a fragment in a hostile universe. You are the living blueprint of the infinite. And when you live from that remembrance, you no longer wonder if you are enough. You simply are. There comes a moment when the journey bends back upon itself, when all the fragments you carried scatter like dust in light, and what remains is only wholeness. You have walked through the illusion of separation, wandered in the shadow of false systems, carried the weight of lies about time, worth, and survival. Yet here, at the edge of remembrance, you see that nothing was ever truly missing. The code was never absent. It lived in every breath, every season, every silence. You were never broken. You were only forgetting. The body, once dismissed as burden, is revealed as sacred earth, the altar where spirit speaks into matter. The heart, once shamed as weakness, is restored as water, the river of memory and magnetism. The mind, once tormented by chaos, becomes fire, clarity, vision, the torch that shapes worlds. And the spirit, once doubted as phantom, rises as air, the whisper that bridges you to infinity. 4 bodies, 4 mirrors, 4 currents in union. No longer fragments, but one symphony. You feel it in your breath, in the rhythm of inhale and exhale, in the pauses that cradle stillness. You feel it in the beating of your heart, in the flow of emotion that no longer drowns but carries. You feel it in the spark of thought when it sharpens into vision, in the intuition that arrives before reason. You feel it in the silence, where all moments collapse into one eternal now. The code is not outside you, nor hidden in some distant temple. It is the architecture of your being. This remembrance does not lift you above the world. It roots you more deeply into it. You walk through the same streets, yet your steps carry new weight. You speak the same words, yet they ripple differently through the air. You face the same challenges, yet you are no longer their prisoner. For you do not meet them as fragments, you meet them as wholeness. And wholeness bends reality itself. The ancients called this mastery, but it is not conquest. It is communion. It is the knowing that to live is to participate in a pattern eternal, that to breathe is to echo the breath that formed galaxies. You no longer seek the code, it seeks through you. You no longer chase alignment, you are alignment embodied. You no longer worship infinity, you are infinity remembering itself in human form. And so the journey returns to where it began, the code of 4. 4 elements, 4 forces, 4 directions, 4 bodies, 4 keys. The signature of the infinite written across your skin, your blood, your stars. You are not outside it. You are not apart from it. You are its mirror, its living proof, its breathing reflection. And as you remember, the veil dissolves, the cage vanishes, and only truth remains. You are whole. You always were. You always will be.